The majority in Parliament has accused the former Minister for National Security, Kofi Totobi-Kwache, and Larry Bevlolate, a former National Security Coordinator, of masterminding what it deems as the unending post-election violence by NDC thugs. The caucus asserts that numerous incidents of violence have been perpetrated against government appointees, with acts of thuggery against state firms after the 2024 general elections by some members of the NDC. The claim comes a day after the president-elect John Mahama announced Kofi Totobi-Kwache and Larry Bevlolate as members of an interim team to manage and coordinate national security matters pending the appointment of substantive officials. Parliamentary correspondent Ni Ayikwe Okan has more.
In the aftermath of the 2024 general elections, there were reports of violence, including vandalism of state property and the destruction of materials and offices belonging to the Electoral Commission in parts of the country. Addressing journalists in Parliament on Saturday, the Majority Caucus alleged that these acts of thuggery and violence were masterminded by some key stalwarts of the NDC leadership, and the names they mentioned were Kofi Totobi-Kwache, a former National Security Minister, and Larry Bevlolate, a former National Security Coordinator. Now, this comes after President-elect John Dramani Mahama appointed these officials as part of an interim team to steer the affairs of national security, pending the appointment of substantive officials.
We have received reliable intelligence indicating that acts of violence and thuggery are being orchestrated by certain elements of the NDC leadership. Mr. Kofi Totobi-Kwache and Colonel Larry Bevlolate, retired, are the key leaders of the NDC who are behind these NDC ties and inspiring the numbers to violence to innocent Ghanaians. Even more troubling is information suggesting plans to intensify these violent acts immediately after the swearing in of the president-elect John Dramani Mahama. These raise serious national security concerns about the safety of the public officials and the citizenry as a whole.
The Majority Chief Whip, Frank Anodompreo, on his part, urged the President-elect John Dramani Mahama to exhibit leadership by ensuring an end to the post-election violence to avert any mishappenings.
Even before they took the reins of governance, even at coalition centers, hooligans, and they claim they don't know anything about them, but they were chanting Eyezu and they were responding to them. Today they are saying that all those hooligans, they are people coming from the moon. They don't know them. You see, even before they are taking over, we've heard of the plans and all the actions and all that they are doing. We are basically saying that we are responsible citizens. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. We are waiting, and we hope that the president will show leadership. We hope the president will show leadership. If they do not show leadership, we will advise ourselves.
Later, the Member of Parliament for Tema Central, Yves Hansen Norte, spoke to journalists, saying that the 94 members of the Majority Caucus who called for the removal of the then Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, have been vindicated by the loss of the New Patriotic Party in the just-ended elections.
I participated in the Ken Must Go because I believe that at that time they were not governing well. And I wasn't alone. It became a caucus. We were about 94. It later became a caucus decision. So to tell you that at least 135 to 137 members of parliament at that time had similar views, or one way or the other sided with the idea that we were not governing well. And I think we've been vindicated by the results that have come out.
The Majority Caucus says its intelligence gathered suggests plans by some members of the NDC to intensify their acts of violence after the swearing-in of President-elect John Dramani Mahama. They are therefore appealing to John Mahama to exhibit leadership to avert any occurrences. Reporting for Channel One News from Parliament. My name is Ni Ayikwe Okan.